Guy, we have an update.
Mm-hmm.
It's a 911. Let's go.
Let's go.
Hi, friends. It is your cinnamon broom sleuthing / archivist / Harris Teeter associate reporting for duty. I went digging through our purchase records trying to track down that elusive cinnamon broom. And sadly, I have to share that there's no trace of it in Miranda's shopping at Harris Teeter. That said, I did find some peppermint candy canes and
Lily loves
other
them.
seasonal goodies around November 2021.
Mm-hmm.
But what I have been thinking about is that we're all in this together. We're just as baffled. So we're going to eagerly await the day that the cinnamon broom mystery is revealed.
Yes.
I mean, it's like the bag of bags. The truth at some point will be revealed. And until then, we are all operating at a nirvana level as a podcast.
Yep.
And we're just gonna wait. It's gonna happen. I feel it. I feel it in my bones. The mystery is going to be revealed, and our quest continues. And I cannot wait to stay tuned while we get to the bottom of it, ladies. Get to the bottom of it and keep that hot fire content coming.
How many Easter eggs can one put into a voicemail?
The references, Dana, you are operating on level 3000 podcast. I've never heard so many references in my life.
Yep.
And I challenge anyone to call the HoHo and try to top that.
Top that. Remember from Teen Witch? It was like the most
Wait, I
cringe.
don't remember that.
It goes down in cinema as like the most cringe movie.
Where they're outside
by the car.
She like the girl with the curly brown hair.
Yeah. Top that.
It's sad.
So bad.
Who writes these things and thinks, yes, this is a hit?
It's the 80s. But Dana is our archivist.
Our archivist.
Because at first I was like, she's our secretary. Like if we had boards, then she would be the one writing all the things down.
Yeah, sure.
She doesn't have to. Dana's a steel trap.
It's amazing.
It goes in there. She remembers it all. I mean, she is who I go to when I say, hey, which episode did we talk about me hating the beach?
Or we'll call her and say, have we already told this story?
Yes.
And she's like, no, I don't recall it at all. And so then we know we can tell it.
Exactly. She's like, well, you kind of started to tell it and I got dibs when you were talking about Valentine's Day. But then you got distracted when Kristin said this.
Shocker.
And I was like, yep, that tracks. That tracks hard. And then she said, so yes, you can say it. And she goes, even if you've kind of said something like it before, I know you'll find a new funny way of spinning it.
That's what I think too.
Yeah.
We can always revisit.
Yes.
There's always a new detail, just like this cinnamon broom.
Yes. And now.
So now we know it was not Harris Teeter.
It was not Harris Teeter. And by the way, I gave Dana permission to go through my receipts. I want to make sure that is loud and clear. Let me be clear, Karen Huger.
Speaking of.
We got to update on that. But I let her have my information because this was important enough to me. And there's nothing I'm buying at Harris Teeter that people can't see.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's not like your STD medication. No, you wouldn't even care.
I don't have an STD medication because I don't have an STD. But even if I did, probably wouldn't care if it was being shown on my pharmacy receipt at Harris Teeter.
No, you wouldn't care if Dana knew that.
I do not care.
There's no secrets around here.
I just simply I don't have the capacity to care about something like that. I'm already sharing the most embarrassing stuff here. Trust me, I think what really saved me from having STDs is that I've been with the same guy since 2001.
That's true. That's true. You really were a relationship girly through and through.
Yeah, I've had two significant relationships in my life.
That's how I was too. Like anybody
they just all proposed to you.
They all did propose. Anyone I was ever with was like a boyfriend.
Yeah.
I was never like out on the town prowling for a one night stand. That was never
throwing
me.
that kitty cat around.
Yeah. I thought about it, but I didn't. Because I would just fall in love.
Yeah. I'm in love, and I don't care who knows. You're Buddy the Elf.
That's me, uptown, just spinning in my Charlotte Russe dress and heels, just falling in love with some skis at Alley Cat.
Your bubble necklaces, your Charlotte Russe dress,
and
your kitten heels.
It was me.
For sure.
For sure.
Kitten, kitty cat. Thank you. But somebody did say that they have seen cinnamon brooms similar to the one I had at Food Lion. And I'm sorry to have to bring up another grocery store, Dana, and at Trader Joe's. And so I have shopped at both of those places as well. Again, Dana, cover your ears. But it's just, for me, it's like, okay, well, I'm already at Green Brothers right here. The food dog is right, and we do call it food dog because their logo looks more like a dog than a lion, and we all know that.
Yeah.
And so we call it food dog in our household, and I'll just be right there. I'm like, okay, well, I do need a rotisserie chicken. I'm just going to pop in and buy one.
Yeah.
Is it who I am through and through? No, I'm obviously a Harris Teeter.
And that's how I am too. But we do have a Food Lion that is the closest grocery store. So sometimes, Dana.
When you run out of an ingredient, you don't have
to
time
go up
to go.
there. If the guinea pigs are out of fresh lettuce, I'm going to go to the Food Lion.
Yes.
I'm not going to trek to the Harris
All those critters.
So many critters, and they eat so much lettuce. It's so much spring mix that we are going through.
So you're not the one who, with the meme that goes around like, I'm buying this bag of spring lettuce to put in the back of my produce to throw it out 2 weeks later.
Yes. You know what is so great about these animals, you guys, is when you do have the vegetable, when you have that cucumber that's right on the brink, it's a little soft. I think, I know who can eat this.
These critters.
These 7 critters in here. They will love this. They will be so thankful.
They will be thankful for that. And I will be thankful when we get the cinnamon brew mystery figured out once and for all.
Yes.
And Deanna, we appreciate your service, your duty, and your commitment to this here podcast.
We are so thankful for any of you guys that have been faithfully listening and following along.
Yes.
This is how you grow.
This is how we do it.
You grow through what you go through. And as Dana said, what is done in the dark will come to light. We will find the cinnamon broom. Someone is going to figure this out.
We will. We will rebuild.
Someone will find the Katie Couric episode. I just know it.
Oh, yeah. No one found it. But
no one found it.
They tried so hard. I know y'all keep saying, here's the episode. We know which episode number it is. We know the date it aired. Yeah. And it depended on where you lived in the country. Some people it aired that afternoon because Katie Couric comes on in the afternoon in that part of the country. And so you might have gotten it on October 19th or whatever, let's say.
Okay.
Then some people, like us, Katie Couric airs in the morning.
Right.
And so that episode I was on aired the following day. And so that would have been a different date. So some of y'all are like, it aired on this day and it aired on this day. And I'm like, that's just because. So keep in mind, if I was recording at 10 a.m.
Right.
and your Katie Couric show comes on at 9 a.m. where you live, then obviously.
It had to be the next day.
Exactly.
Okay.
And so that's why you saw different dates. I know that threw some people off. And again, I love the amount of digging you did, but no one could find the actual episode, like on air.
I mean, surely these tapes, and I will use tapes.
Yes, it is tapes.
It was taped.
It was.
Are somewhere, right?
Somewhere. Maybe they're in like NBC archives.
I mean, just like I told y'all, Rosie O'Donnell is now spitting out her episodes weekly, her old episodes. Again, so smart, Rosie.
But she probably bought them.
You think she owns them?
I think she owns the right to them. And so she probably, it was kind of like, have you seen, it's Jay-Z. Jay-Z owns all of his records now.
Okay.
And he was on an interview with someone, maybe like Gayle King or something recently, and he was showing all of them in this room.
Oh.
And I was like, that's why he can pull from them at any time.
Yes.
And I'm wondering if Rosie has like a literal dark room.
She might.
Just episodes.
All the tapes.
Everywhere.
But this is why Taylor Swift is re-recording her stuff.
Because
somebody bought and sold
Scooter
it.
Braun.
Scooter Braun.
I'm not even a Swiftie, but that was dirty
so
and shady
bad.
And so bad and so wrong and so nasty and
so rude. Like, come on. And now your name is going to be drugged through the mud. There's Swifties all over this globe.
It should be. Scooter Braun is a down low, dirty dog. And if you haven't done a deep dive on him, how many D words can I say? It's all about the D. What can I say? Title. then you should. If you want to go chasing down some rabbit holes,
Oh, yeah.
that's when to go down is the Scooter Braun, the Justin Bieber of it all, the Taylor Swift.
Yes.
And that's why she's having to re-record Taylor's version.
Yes.
Because Scooter bought all the rights to her music, so she owned none of them. So she's like, that's fine. I'll checkmate you, bro. I'll re-record them, re-release them.
So smart.
And that's going to make me even more money. And it's
it truly, when it comes to Taylor Swift, whether you like her music or not, she is a mastermind when it comes to selling music.
absolutely.
So what she's done when she's re-released all this stuff is she's added a couple bonus tracks.
Yep.
Some new tracks on the old album. So of course people want them. The diehard Swifties, they're going to buy the music. They want it. They want all the little inside info that she's including on the records that you can buy the LP.
Yep.
It's wild, and I am so impressed by her business savviness.
She has an incredible team around her helping her, but she also, I think, is just very good at making these decisions. I think she saw the big picture a very long time ago.
Do you know who gave her that idea to re-record?
Who?
Kelly Clarkson.
Oh, I feel like I saw a clip of this.
When all of this came out, that
Yes.
Scooter Braun had done this, they sold Taylor's music, Kelly Clarkson tweeted her and said, girl, just re-record it all and re-release it.
Yep.
And so every time Taylor Swift releases a new one, she sends flowers to Kelly Clarkson.
I love that.
Isn't that
I think
cool?
I feel like I did see a reel of that, and I meant to
Yeah.
go back down digging and making sure it was true.
I'm going to say it's true.
I do think it's true.
Yeah, it feels true.
Yeah, and Kelly would do that.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Kelly would totally do that.
She's a down bee.
But like it's also then I want to make sure that you are giving interviews to Kelly Clarkson. She has her own show. I'm hoping
True.
that Taylor is doing right by her in that way.
I hope so.
I
think
certainly-
she would.
I haven't seen but I don't watch that show religiously or anything like that. But I'm hoping that Kelly, if she has asked Taylor to be on the show, that Taylor's like, of course I would be.
Yeah, she
You gave me
better.
such a great idea.
We'll look into that.
I'm gonna dig into that too.
You know what? Other celebrities in music news we need to talk about.
Ooh. I'm just saying, you guys, like, I don't know how many times we have to be right on this here podcast. I don't know how much more breaking news we can give you.
We
and
have
you're
told
still
you.
going to go to other podcasts and apologies and listen to their stupid stuff. We won't do you wrong.
We will not steer you wrong. If we're going to bring something up here, whether it is the economy or P. Diddy,
Yeah.
we're going to be right.
Yeah.
And so you can trust us that
You
the
can.
words coming out of our mouth, and we have a lot to say, and we're going to
gonna
say
say
it,
it.
and we've mulled it over, and we've really thought about it.
Yes.
And if I say something dumb, she's going to check me on it.
That's
and
right.
vice versa.
Who gonna check me, boo?
Who gonna check me, boo?
Who gonna check
and
me,
I
boo?
told y'all all this stuff about P. Diddy coming out, right? And then what happened? My mother prayed for his demise. And then what happened?
He demised.
He demised. So now Diddy's on the run,
On the private jet.
on a private jet, going to, where is he?
He's going to an island that he cannot be extradited, that they don't have a United States extradition clause, essentially.
So he can hide out on this island. He left some people behind who got
his
arrested.
sons. Those were his own sons.
God, no.
That's why it's like, you're a bad person. Like you are already a bad person. We already knew that because we were already sniffing that out.
Yes.
But the fact that you decided that upon this raid, your own children were in the home. Now, his sons are adult age.
Yeah.
Okay, but not like that adult. Like
Yeah.
we're talking like 18 and 20 or something. Again, I don't know their exact ages. But you left your own sons back at the house while you jumped on the PJ.
Yep.
And that's who was coming out in handcuffs, were his kids.
I did not realize those were his.
Oh, yeah, those were his boys.
He abandoned his own kids to save his own booty. Wow.
That's not what you do as a parent.
That's not what you do. And it shows your heart. You're dark-hearted.
You are dark-hearted. But the things I was reading in the... So who was bringing kind of... he's been sued by a lot of people.
Yeah.
He's been sued by a lot of people, including some of his exes, ex-wives, ex-baby mom, like all of that for bad things. But then this one person recently filed a lawsuit, and I think that's what kicked off a lot of this. And it was like that his housekeepers, that everybody on his staff had to wear a fanny pack at all times, and it needed to have cocaine, ecstasy, weed, like all these drugs. Now,
A fanny pack of drugs.
This is alleged. but it's such a specific.
It's too specific to be
It's
fake.
like a specific. I want to say like it said like hot pink fanny pack or something, and my brain just went,
what?
"What?
A fanny pack of drugs.
What am I reading here?" It's a fanny pack. Like everyone was required to wear it.
If
and
you
that
were on his staff,
working
around
in his
him.
property at all of his properties.
I'm shook.
And I know, and that there was a ton of sexual abuse happening,
Yes.
that there was potentially trafficking, and that's why like the FBI gets involved. Because if we're talking about trafficking underage people,
Yeah.
especially internationally,
Yes.
if we're going to these islands, if we're going to whatever, then why, like they're stepping in.
Yeah, they have
That's
to.
one thing to have all these drugs. Now, those are still illegal,
Yeah.
but within your own home, very hard to prove.
And all of these celebrities are doing
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Let's be clear.
Whatever. So that's not something they're chasing. I think it was the sex trafficking that really blew the whistle. And but the rest of the stuff that I was reading throughout, again, this is alleged because this is just what's been brought against him.
Yeah.
But the details were so specific that I'm like, oh, this is someone very much within the circle.
Yes.
And it feels like pretty easily provable or disproven.
Yes.
Because you'll just go to all of the people who work there and go, hey, where's your fanny pack?
Yeah, you just say the jig is up. We know what's going on. Tell us everything. And they're going to tell
And there's-
because they're not scared of him anymore because he's on an island somewhere afraid to come back to the United States.
Right? And maybe both.
Yes.
That there's got to be security cameras all over that
That's
place.
what I
Wouldn't it
would
be
think.
easy to kind of see like fanny packs of drugs being
If
doled out?
Yeah, I think so. We're gonna get some images of the fanny packs. I know it.
These are the specific details as per usual
Yeah.
that I like to cling to.
Well, I had told y'all several weeks ago that there was some Justin Bieber involved
Yep.
with the P. Diddy of it all,
Yep.
some Usher,
Mm-hmm.
many different celebs, sexual things happening.
Yes.
So
There's been beef between all of these people and rumors and allegations
Yes.
and things been floated out. And then we see this weird clip that Diddy's like, Bieber's been with me. This 15-year-old's been with me for 48 hours. We're doing crazy things. And you look at Justin just kind of looking up at him like, ha, ha, yeah, ha, ha, ha. And Justin has come out and said that there are very evil and wicked things happening within the music industry, especially between grown men and underage boys. Justin has come out and said that.
Yes.
And that
And
he
then-
has been caught up in it.
his Yummy Yummy music video
A lot of people thought that was referenced.
thought it was referencing the Pizzagate and all of that.
Again,
Well,
alleged.
all
this.
alleged. Well, Michelle sent a text and said, remember last week, Stephen Baldwin
Mm-hmm.
had posted, pray for Justin and Haley.
Mm.
And it was very cryptic and no one knew what this was about. It wasn't saying anything more than that. Pray for Justin and Haley. And so she says, I am wondering if Justin's been working with the authorities, letting them know what he knows, and feeling like, hey, these two need prayers because to stand up against the machine that is Hollywood and is
That is Diddy.
that is Diddy, and he's
Yeah.
got all the connections and all the people, and there were allegations that was he the one that took out Tupac? Maybe he even
Yeah.
took out Biggie. I mean, all of this has been floated around,
Yeah.
and so now I'm going, OMG, maybe Justin gave them the deets.
Maybe he did. It does seem like Justin has had kind of this like about face
Yes.
moment in the last couple years.
For
of,
sure.
I am no longer protecting people at the expense of my own peace.
Right.
And that if I know something and I feel like I need to say something because I don't want other people to go through what I've gone through.
Yes.
Like we don't protect the young. Like that we've seen this in celebrity time and time and time again, from the Mickey Mouse Club people.
Have
to
you watched the documentary? That
Not
came out?
yet, but I need to.
You
But
need to.
I do know about it, and I've seen some things shared and some clips shared about it. But there is wicked and evil things happening, and I know that we all kind of hear that.
Yeah.
And it sounds like this very big blanket statement, but it for sure has been going on for a very long time because it happens in our neighborhoods.
Oh, yeah.
It happens in our churches. It happens everywhere.
Yeah.
So of course it's happening in Hollywood. Of course it's happening to celebrity.
Yeah.
And we need to listen to these people
Yes.
and hear them out and hear what they have to say. And I do think that Justin knows a lot.
He knows a lot.
He knows a lot, and we are believers, and we
Y'all
believe
know that.
we believe him, and we always have.
So I've got my monocle on. I'm inspecting all of this. Oh, the elbow.
Oh my God.
Very closely. And, Mom, I got to hand it to you.
Did she text you anything?
So she did say.
People are wondering what Pam has to say.
Let me see.
And she might be very busy just praying, you guys. So we can't demand too much of Pam because she's clearly been on her knees busy.
Yes, I think Mom did end up sending me an article, like making sure that I saw
Yeah.
Diddy had been arrested, that her prayers did work. And so just be aware.
Or at least rated.
Yes.
Rated.
Yeah, we can't say arrested.
We had heard that he had been arrested wherever he kind of landed or was found.
Oh, really?
But maybe he was just, maybe they couldn't.
I don't think they can.
But maybe they found him but couldn't. I don't know. That's very, so you went somewhere specifically so that you knew you could not be brought back to the United States for your crimes. So you already had this planned.
Right.
Like there's already a home somewhere.
Yeah.
There's already a place somewhere, whether it's a permanent home or whatnot, but there's already something that if this happened, I know where to go.
I mean, it's giving guilty.
Yeah, that's what we were like. It's feeling Bronco.
It's giving OJ and the Bronco.
It's giving Bronco.
If you're on the run, it's because you're guilty and you're scared.
Yeah.
And
what are you doing, Diddy?
So,
if you have nothing to hide and everything's on the up and up, then stay there and answer the questions.
Yeah.
They're right there to ask you. But yeah, we heard that they came in from the water, from the road.
Oh, I didn't hear all this.
It was a multi-pronged thing. So I'm like, well, then how are they not in the air? They know he has a private jet.
Yes, just side saddle that airplane.
But I guess you can't shoot it down.
Well, what if they did?
I've watched too many movies.
But honestly, if they did, the world is in such a weird state right now that I would be like, that's what they did. They shot him out of the air. I just, things are so bizarre right now. I can't eat. Bridges are falling. We're accusing Kate of crazy things. Like things are backwards and upside down so much so that I can't even, my eyes are crossed.
Yeah, it's very...
And I know we're not supposed to be yelling, Jack. I'm sorry. Jack, I know you don't like the yelling.
the harping and the yelling. But we kind of said this. We said, what would be the current day Bronco?
This is it.
And to watch this raid and the choppers overhead and seeing the guys come out in the handcuffs.
And such a big name.
I was like, did we just say that? Like, we are predicting things. We are saying things and then they are happening. We are talking about things and they are being revealed. So how can we use this to harness our own good?
Let me say this.
That's what I'm wondering.
Speaking of, like, us predicting the future and influencing everyone around us, Kacey Musgraves' new album came out. And first of all, it's fire. Everyone needs to download it. It's so great.
I don't know if I know a single song of hers.
You do.
Okay.
You do. She'll, what's so interesting about Kacey is she's started as a songwriter.
Okay.
So she's written a ton of songs that we all know. She's a Nashville girly, but then she started to release her own albums, and she's a magnificent singer, beautiful music, yada, yada.
Okay.
Anyway,
what?
Multiple tracks on this album have everything to do with things we have talked about on this podcast.
Like what?
The first one is called Cardinal.
Cardinal, like the bird
Cardinal.
coming to visit.
One of them is called Heaven Is, where she's talking about what is heaven? What's going on in heaven?
Casey, are you listening to our podcast?
If
you are, my God, can we interview you? We will promote your album. Maybe just every single episode will begin with a different song of yours.
I literally was going through the album, the song titles,
tracks.
going, these song titles could be the titles of our podcast episodes.
Whoa.
It was wild. And I am convinced that Kacey Musgraves is a podcat. I think she's a podcat.
Okay, well, I apologize for not knowing much about you. I apologize. Like, I know the name, and I'm sure if I heard the song, I'd be like, that's Kacey Musgraves.
Yeah.
But I've never like downloaded one of her songs but I feel like someone might have suggested one of them for when we did our DJ for a day when we raised money for St. Jude on the way back from our road trip. I feel like maybe one of her songs is on there.
I bet it is.
Can you tell me what? Can you sing?
I'm trying to think of one that what
popular.
came to mind immediately was like Dime Store Cowgirl. I feel like you're not like such a country girly. You do know country songs.
I know 80s and 90s country a lot. And then I know some Luke Combs, and I know like who are other popular ones right now. I know Jason Aldean,
Yes.
Luke Combs.
Who's the Morgan Wallen?
I know some Morgan Wallen. If it's on radio and if it's even country enough to be crossed over,
Yes.
then I do know some of those. But I don't.
Because you do love the radio.
I love the radio. That's what I listen to in the car. I'm either listening to podcasts or I'm listening to the radio, but I'm not queuing up even our Spotify playlist.
All right, I'm just looking on her top songs to see if anything. Follow Your Arrow. Do you know that song?
Play it.
Okay. Oh, you might know. Hang on.
Which one?
Okay, no, not this. Not this. Stop. On the Frozen 2 soundtrack.
Okay.
Okay, I'm talking soundtrack.
Okay.
Where we're getting not only the actual songs in the movie,
Right.
but where some artists come in.
Where Brandon sang.
Yeah. You got me.
Okay, got it.
She sings the Mother's Lullaby, All Is Found. That's Kacey Musgraves.
I do know Kacey Musgraves then because I know that exact version of that song. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Where the north wind meets.
That's her.
Where the north wind meets the sea, there's a river full of memory. Sleep, my darling, safe and sound. For in this river all is found.
Okay, there
Yeah.
we go.
Okay.
We
I
got
know
there.
exactly who.
We got there with Frozen. Who
We
would have
got there.
thought?
Shocker.
Shocking. Anyway, the point is she might be a podcat.
Okay.
All the songs really are relating back to things
Wow.
we have discussed here. Now, could it be that we have just covered so many topics
Yeah.
over the last year that it would be impossible for someone to write a song that doesn't have something to do
If
with what
she
we
does
say?
have one that's labeled hospital sushi, though, I am fully convinced she's listening to the pod. Because who else is ever saying that?
It's
else?
true. I mean,
But us.
we do have some podcast titles that are so uniquely ours.
So specific. So specific.
All right. Do you oh, I gotta ask you this. Was that crab not real crab meat?
Oh, baby.
Why
It's
was
crab with a K, though.
How do you know that? By looking at it.
No, I know it by the price. I know it by
But it looked real.
No, I know. They're trying to make it look real. They did a good job at it, obviously. But yeah, that's not that's not real crab.
I saw you post that and said crab with a K. I had a deep frown. As much as my Botox would let me, I frowned.
Well, someone did write us and they were like, oh, who's going to tell Kristin that's not real crab? That's crab with a K.
She did. She like took a picture of it for
Yeah.
us, and I thought, no.
Yeah. It's okay. I'm
Well,
sure
I'm
it
still gonna
tastes
buy
great.
it.
I'm still going to buy. I eat imitation crab meat.
Well, what is imitation crab meat made of?
I don't know. We want to know.
Okay. Like we don't want to know what's in a hot dog.
I don't think so. I love a hot dog though.
I love a glizzy.
What's that?
A glizzy.
What's that though?
It's a hot dog. That's what all the kids say now.
Oh no.
They say, I'm at the ballpark chugging glizzies.
I've heard glizzy, but I didn't know that it meant hot dog.
Yes. If you're watching like Barstool Sports, they're talking about glizzies all day.
Okay, Tristan better not say glizzy.
He told me the boys at school say glizzy.
Don't say
He
it,
does not.
Tristan. I won't respect you anymore.
It feels sexual to me.
It's weird. Glizzy.
If you're saying you're swallowing glizzies,
Ugh, you're
I-
chugging down glizzies? No. To me, it feels like an alcoholic drink too or something.
Ooh,
I don't like that.
a
Just
fizzy
say
glizzy.
just say it takes the same amount of time to say hot dog as it does glizzy. They're two syllables. Why are we
Yeah.
changing everything? Stop.
I want to know where this came from.
Yeah.
Where did this originate? I don't know,
It's usually a Kardashian.
but I do want to know what is in the imitation crab.
Yeah, I don't know what it is either, but yeah, that if there that much leg meat would go for $25.
You think?
Yeah, because think of the little things of crab that you get. Do you ever make like homemade crab cakes, or have you made a crab dip where you've had to buy the actual?
No.
Okay.
I know what you're talking about with like the it's white almost.
Yes, and it
Yeah.
has the aluminum foil at
Yes,
the top, and you have
yeah.
to drain it and pick through and make sure that there, no shells got in there. That little jar that's like this big and this big,
Is how
that's
much?
like $16 to $20.
Oh.
And that's claw meat, that's leg meat, that's all the different parts meat.
oh.
So to just get, I know. So to get like 5 actual big leg meaty parts for $4.99, it ain't it. It's krab with a K.
Krab with a K, y'all.
But that's okay. That tracks for the Kardashians, who I just mentioned.
Well, as we said, everything's alleged here, so hopefully none of you took that to heart and ran and like did a big fancy dinner for your family with fish.
I don't think that they did. But here's the difference between us and other people.
Yeah.
We admit when we get it wrong.
We can admit, I can say, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm
This
sorry.
is me saying, I'm sorry.
And
I was wrong.
She was wrong, and it was imitation still, but it looked great, and I will buy it the second I see it.
Let's actually talk about this for a second.
Okay.
Let's talk about apologizing.
Yeah, let's do it.
And I know we kind of laid in on the pop apologist on the Kate episode, if you listen to that, but I'm just saying generally, it is really, really, really hard for some people to apologize.
They say that sometimes it is the hardest phrase for anyone to say is "I'm sorry."
Do you feel that way?
No, I say sorry a lot.
Yeah, I just think for me, if it gets us to just kind of move along, I'll say I'm sorry. It's not a blow to my ego. It doesn't mean I'm the worst person. It doesn't mean I'm a ding dong. It's just I was wrong and I'm sorry.
Yeah, because here's the thing, like, I know how human I am. I know I'm going to make mistakes. And the only way to have people in your life long term is to be able to say my bad when it truly is your bad.
Yeah.
And so we're all human. We're going to fail. We're
Yes.
going to mess up. We're
Yes.
going to say things we regret. We are going to say things even to our kids. Like, I think it's super important. We talk about this to apologize to our children when it's needed.
Yes, yes.
Because we can just spin out of control like a top off of some very small thing. And you don't want to do that to your kids because it puts them at this, like, we never know what to say or do with our parents. We don't know which version of them we're going to get.
I know
and
it.
I don't want their nervous systems to be completely dysregulated all the time.
Yes.
So I have to check myself.
Oh, I have to do this all the time.
Yeah.
And I know that
Yes.
I maybe in my life have popped off one too many times because my kids will like spill something on the table and then they look at me.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
like, it's okay.
Yeah. They're like,
But I'm like, are they just like so afraid that? But I'm like, well, you spilling a jug of milk on the carpet is different than the table.
Exactly.
It's two different things, bud.
And you bringing me a quarter of a paper towel versus a bath towel.
Yes.
It's different because it's showing me that you're using some critical thinking here.
Right. So
It's
I'm like,
more
you
the
can't-
reaction to the thing.
Yes. Yes.
And so it just feels like there are so many mistakes that were made in a row. And so I'm now adding them all up and I am popping off. But at the end of all of that, we still can calm back down.
Calm down.
And say, okay, I didn't mean to like lose my shit.
Yeah. I'm so sorry.
But let me explain why.
Yeah.
And for next time, let's do better.
Yes.
And I'm sorry.
Yes.
And I know you're sorry. And let's move on.
Let's move on. And I think the more we can apologize to our kids, then we are teaching them
Yeah, we're modeling it.
how to say they're sorry. So
Yes.
it doesn't feel like such a blow. I just think people, when they think about owning up, they just feel like it's just such a blow and just having to admit that. And maybe I used to be more that way, but I just, I don't know. The older I get, the more I'm just like, I'm happy to say I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Anytime I've probably screwed up, I've screwed up multiple times a day. And I just want to own it.
Yes. Own it. Say sorry. Cop to it. Whatever. And even if it's just like, if it's not that big of a deal, if saying I'm sorry so hard, just be like, my bad.
My bad.
Shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
Didn't need to say that.
I see it clearly now.
Yeah.
Didn't mean
I have
to.
all the facts now and I can admit that I got that totally wrong. My bad.
I like that. I think we're giving good advice here. It's really good for marriages. You
Yes.
got to be able to say you're sorry in marriages, but in friendships too, and corporate or whatever. Like, be the person that's just willing to like humble themselves sometimes and say you're sorry.
And that kind of lends itself to what I was talking about last night. So I finished the Awaken Marriage Bible Study yesterday, the 7 weeks of doing that. And I didn't read the book. I read 29 pages.
That's okay.
I did read 29 pages. What's it called? The Art of Marriage?
The Art of Marriage, I
Okay,
think.
by Timothy Keller.
Yeah.
And the 29 pages I read were good. So I do want
Okay, great.
to actually continue reading it. Yeah. Because the first bit of most books, it's like it's telling you what you're going to read throughout it. And so I was gleaning insight just in that short amount of time. So I know it would be helpful.
Yes.
And I do plan on doing that. And you guys can hold me to that as an accountability podcast if you would like.
Yes.
And so last night, let me back up. Joshua knows what a terrible sleeper I am.
Yes.
Everyone knows.
Everybody knows.
You're a terrible sleeper. I'm a terrible sleeper. Everybody knows this about me. And because of that, Joshua gets up at 4 a.m. every morning to the quietest alarm clock of all time so that I won't hear it.
This
I don't know how he wakes up to it. I swear to God, it's so low that I have no clue how he wakes, because there are nights when I can't sleep,
Yeah.
and I'll hear his 4 a.m. alarm go off, and I'm like, what is that? Is one of the cats like meowing upstairs? It's so faint, and so I'm like,
But it
and then
still wakes
finally,
him up.
I'm like, that's his alarm? Like, that's what he wakes up to? And eventually he will start to stir, and he'll be like, that's the alarm, and he'll turn it off, and he'll put his feet right on the ground. That's his number one rule. If you are an early workout person,
Okay.
the second your alarm goes off, put your feet on the ground as
Ooh.
quickly as you can.
Okay, that's a good tip.
Like, move them out of your bed in your comforter or your duvet cover,
Your duvet.
and put your feet on the ground.
Okay.
And it just gives you that extra oomph that you've already halfway out of
Yes.
being warm.
I am sitting up.
Yes, I'm doing it. And then he uses the flashlight on his phone at the lowest setting,
Oh.
and he walks around our room, and he goes out into the living room where the night before he has put all of his clothing
Yep.
that he's going to use for the day,
Yep.
all his shoes that he's going to use for the day. Everything is out there.
Does he use that bathroom out there?
He uses the bathroom out, the powder room out there to
Yeah.
pee, and I don't see him again. Now, at some point, I think he's coming in to brush his teeth,
Okay.
but I do not see or hear him again. This is if I'm awake, okay? If I'm awake and I'm kind of watching this whole thing like a little mouse in the night.
You're like a little cockroach watching.
I'm just like, my God, he really does just like, he's tiptoeing. He's not opening a single drawer. He's not slamming a door. He is turning the knob as slowly as possibly as he can. He's peeing out in another bathroom. He is putting on clothes in our kitchen.
Josh, this is love.
This is love.
That's love.
That is love.
Yeah.
And I'm so grateful for it. So he does all of this, right? So last night, before he got ready for bed, he was telling me that he has a meeting today, which means he has to actually wear real clothes.
Ooh, okay.
Because he doesn't. He wears,
Yeah.
well, he's naked every day is what I'm saying. But he just wears dress down clothes every day for his
Yeah.
job. But if he has a meeting, he has to dress up. So I hear him banging around kind of, I'm not asleep yet. I'm very awake, but he's banging around in the closet. I'm like, what is he doing? And then he carries out the ironing board, and he carries out the iron. And he goes and sets all of that up so that the creaking from the ironing board is already set up in the kitchen, and the iron is set up, and he's pulled out all of his fancy clothes and all of his workout clothes, his fancy shoes and his workout shoes. Everything is out
Wow.
there. And then he comes back in, and he's very tired, and he goes to bed. And he irons his own clothes. I iron my own clothes.
Yeah.
So he irons his own clothes usually. And as I'm sitting there and I'm kind of ruminating on the marriage study and what have I learned, and I bring the book into my room.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if you keep it on your nightstand, you have a higher likelihood of at least reading this thing, right?
Yes.
Did I read it? No, I scrolled on my phone. But I'm watching him sleep, and I'm like, I should go iron his clothes. I should iron his clothes for him.
So sweet.
Like, wouldn't that be nice that he woke up in the morning to this chore
Yeah.
that, again, he's never asked me. He doesn't ask me to do that. He doesn't guilt me for not doing it. He doesn't say, it'd be nice if you ironed my clothes.
Yeah.
That's not Joshua.
No.
And so I got out of bed and I walked out there and I plugged in the iron and I set up my phone and was just talking to people about this. Like, look for little ways, because it's never the big things.
No.
And we all hear that. We know that. Oh, it's the little things. It's the little things that count. But like, here is me saying, like, I recognize all the ways that he is selfless to try to help me with this thing that has plagued me my entire life, which is sleep.
Yes.
And he does everything to not disturb me or disrupt me. So much so that if I am sleeping, I don't do anything for my family in the morning.
Yeah.
He comes back from CrossFit, gets dressed, does all the things still out there, and then makes sure that the girls are up for school, that they stay quiet.
Yeah.
I mean, again, and then gets them off. He doesn't, I have nothing to do with my family in the morning. That is such a gift. This is the 1 year I can do.
I know.
This is the 1 year I can do it because Bella can drive Lily. I will go back to driving her next year.
That's true.
But like, this is the 1 year I could do it. And this is what I said to my family. I get 1 year.
Please give me this year.
I am going to sleep if I can sleep. If I am sleeping, please let me sleep.
Let me sleep.
Don't stomp down those stairs. Do not slam cabinets. Do not be opening and shutting doors. Do not let the water just run.
Yeah.
Don't leave the lights on. Like, this is very important developmentally
Yes.
for your kids to learn these things anyway. But I'm just
Yes.
like, please let me sleep. This is my 1 year to do it. And they all have done it. And they are so kind to do that. And it's so selfless to do that. So I go out there and I iron his shirt and his suit jacket and his pants and I lay everything out and I send him a text and I just say, press snooze in the morning if you want. All of your clothes are ironed. I love you. And I thought this could be a teachable moment
I love
for some
this.
people.
So I mean, it is, I'm having a teachable moment myself. In my mind, I'm thinking, okay, what is the thing I need to be doing for Matt?
Yeah, what's just a little thing to take one thing off? Because we always talk about the mental capacity, right? The
Yes.
mental load.
Yes.
The things that are always going on in our mom brains,
Yes.
right? And if our husband can take just one thing off of that, it's such a gift to us.
It's such a good. I mean, and that's Matt.
Oh, it's 100%.
24/7.
Yeah, and he is.
Like embarrassingly so, to the point where like at the beginning of this year, I was like, I'm going to step up and be part of this family. And I really have. I've like been driving the kids to school and doing the things.
Yeah, you've been really
because
trying.
I've seen that like Matt was carrying more of the load. And I think some of that had to do with like the menopause of it all.
Yeah.
And, you know, me just feeling overwhelmed with lots of different things.
Mm-hmm.
But all that to say, I need to be looking for what is the specific thing just for him.
Yes.
Not even that it's a family thing, but it's
Right.
a thing just for him.
Just for him.
That would make him happy. Is it cleaning out his car?
Yeah.
It tends to get trash. We've
Yep.
got 3 kids. It gets crazy in there.
And he's running them all over.
Yeah, maybe I need
Yeah.
to take 30 minutes and clean out his car or what. I don't know.
Even if it's just taking it to the auto belt and them
Yeah.
doing it, but it's just that because you know when he gets out of it or into it every day, he's going, I really need to clean this.
Yeah.
I know I
But
need to
there's
clean
just
this.
never time.
But you feel like there's just never time. So if you have that moment in your marriage and your partnership right now that you can do, just do it. And of course, when I woke up this morning, finally, when I
Whenever that was.
when I woke up this morning, I had a text back from him just saying like, thank you, babe. I love you. Like, thank you for doing the ironing. And it's nothing like this is
Isn't
once
that
in a blue
amazing though?
moon.
This little thing
Yeah.
matters actually so much.
Yes.
And it's not the big gestures.
No.
It's not the big grand sweeping
Mm-mm.
women want diamonds and this and that. Like that's
No.
not it.
No.
How we show love is the little things day to day. And
Yeah.
that probably filled his bucket so much.
I hope it did fill his bucket. We haven't spoken since,
Which is surprising because Josh calls you a lot.
but we've been here.
Well, that's true.
Yeah, we've been here.
But did you have a lot of DMs from other women?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Other women just saying like, thank you for the reminder. Needed this reminder. Needed this
Yeah.
reminder. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Like, and people just saying, my husband does the same thing, or it makes my day when he started the coffee pot and it was already
Yes.
brewed and hot and ready to go when I woke up. Again, just the little things. And I know we all hear it, but we get bogged down in the day to
We
day.
do.
And maybe there's resentment. Maybe there's something that happened earlier and you're just
Yeah.
like, well, who's going to move first?
Somebody.
And I will say, it's not even that we had, there was nothing that happened yesterday. There was no fight. And I was like, this will be my apology to him because I'll say sorry. We just covered that. We really will. But this was just a normal, regular day. Nothing too high, nothing too low. But we've had this stupid refrigerator thing happening.
Oh my gosh, wait. Talk about the fridge.
So-
Because we need to, sorry, Jack, but we got to rage again
Yep.
about appliances are not built to last anymore.
No, they're not.
And it's not okay, actually. LG and Maytag and whoever else. It's not okay that you're building things to fall apart after 4+ years.
Thank you. And LG stands for Life's Good. And let me tell you, my life was not good.
Not good.
This weekend when I basically woke up and my entire freezer had melted,
Ugh.
all of the ice from the ice machine, all of the frozen meats, including fish sticks, salmon,
So much fish.
all these bags that I had separated ground turkey because I'll buy it in bulk and I'll separate it into 1 pound.
Did you
Ziploc
lose
bags.
all of this?
Oh, we lost everything.
That's
Lost.
hundreds of dollars.
And in this economy, are you kidding me?
Absolutely not.
I threw out at least $500 worth of food.
Oh.
Everything was flooded. That part of our kitchen, our floors were warped. The baseboards were warped.
Oh my
Like
God.
paint was starting to peel.
No.
Oh yes, because so much water and so much disgusting water.
Like fish
was
water.
fish water. The smell, Bella was like gagging. So we have to clean all this up, which of course Joshua helped with me. He pull the fridge out and see what's going on. The fridge was staying kind of cold, so I didn't have to throw out everything, like of course throw out the milk and yogurt and stuff like that. But some of it's like bagels or whatever.
Yeah.
But all of that was starting to get like not cold enough. So everything's melted. The floor's disgusting. Things are warping. And I'm thinking, this fridge we just moved in 5 years ago.
That's what I'm saying.
Why are nice, expensive fridges breaking in 5 years? This is crazy. So, and no one had like left the door cracked or anything. At first I thought maybe that's what had happened, but no, like the compressor just went out.
Oh.
The compressor went out. So I put on my stories like, hey, does anybody know a good fridge repair person? 123 Appliance. James came so highly recommended. Apparently everybody knows who this guy is.
Okay, 123 Appliance. That's good to know.
And his name's James. So I text him. He gets back to me within 10 minutes on a Sunday.
Oh, James.
On a Sunday.
Wow.
And I just say, my fridge is broken. Can you come out and look at it sometime? He said tomorrow between 9 and noon.
Great.
Awesome. So the repair guy comes out. He says it's going to be $65 for the visit to diagnose what's going on. Okay, not bad. So the guy comes, he opens it. He's like, the compressor's blown. I said, okay, well, maybe it's covered under a warranty, something like that. He's like, with LGs, it's 1 year for this and this. For the compressor, it's 10 years to replace the part, but after 5 years, you have to pay for the labor to replace it. This fridge is like 5 years and 3 months old.
There you go.
There it is.
There it is.
There it is.
They timed it just right.
Just right. It's just like when your iPhone starts to shit out the second that they release a new model.
Yes.
Y'all know what we're talking about.
Yes, your battery starts to die within 2 hours of using it.
We see you, Apple. We see you. So of course it's not covered. So then I have to get on the phone. And so the guy's like, yeah, it's just the compressor. We see this all the time in this exact model. You're going to need to call them to figure out the warranty and the repair and all of that sort of stuff. And I'm like, dang. So I say to him, well, what do I owe you? He's like, I was here for 5 minutes, ma'am. You don't owe me anything.
Oh,
We love that.
that is good people.
I said, but you drove here and back. This is at least an hour out of your time. He's like, it's the right thing to do.
I hope goodness comes back to him tenfold.
It will. Right here. Podcasts, if you are local and you need an appliance repair person, any appliance in your home, 123 Appliance James.
Okay, this
Okay?
is it. This is who we use.
This is who we use from now on. That's the right thing to do. And I still would have happily paid the $65 because I understand what it's like to give up an hour out of your time, even if you
right.
don't have to do much.
That's right.
I get it. So then I have to sit on the
Freaking.
Then I have to sit on the freaking phone. Well, so you go to the website to look up the number and it's like, do the virtual chat. So I do the virtual chat. I have to sit on virtual chat for 38 minutes to finally get to the part where I say, I understand that the part is covered because it's less than 10 years. I just want to know what the quote is for the labor.
Yeah.
What's it going to cost to repair it? The person goes, I'm sending you that information. Then it says the agent has disconnected you from the chat.
What?
Enraged.
Did you have to get back on?
So I'm like, screw it. I'm calling the number. Call the number. It forces you to the virtual chat. I call back again and I say, no virtual chat. No, you will not do this to me again. I want a person. I want to talk to somebody. Finally get connected to some guy.
I'm unwell.
Don't know where he is in the world, but some guy. And I'm talking to him and I explain everything. And I've been kicked off the virtual chat. All I want to know is what is the repair going to cost me? Because at this point, a new fridge, if we go to the scratch and dent place, might be $900. If it's going to cost me $650 to repair and it's covered for 90 days, that doesn't help me, man.
No.
Because we know once one thing goes, the next thing goes, and the next thing, and the next thing.
Correct.
So I finally get this guy to say, okay, well, based on your zip code and then it's going to be somewhere between $549 and $613 for them to come out and repair it because the part is covered because of the whatever. I'm like, okay, how soon could they be there? Well, they could be here on Wednesday. I said, well, what if we just wanted the part and my husband could watch a couple YouTube videos and figure out how to redo it? Because he does that on everything.
Yeah.
He was like, well, then the part won't get to you between 7 to 10 business days. I'm like, well, we can't be without a fridge for 2 weeks.
Well, they do that on purpose.
Of course. So I'm
Wow.
like, but wait, the repair guy could have that same part with him here on Wednesday if he comes to my house. But you can't get me that same part to my house by Wednesday. That's going to be 7 to 10 business days. I see you, LG. And
We see
again,
it.
life is not good.
Life is not
Life
good.
is not good. So just go ahead and change your slogan. Maybe let's
Life's bad.
workshop.
LB.
We're going to workshop a different LG for bad things. And we'll come up with that
We'll
in a
come
second.
up with that soon.
So I say, okay, I see what you're doing. Let me call my husband and let me just have a chit chat with him and see what we're going to do about this, because it seems like you're really forcing our hand here. So I call Josh and he's like, nah, for $650, like we might as well just go look for a fridge with a whole new warranty.
With a whole new
that
warranty.
starts over.
That's the point, is to get not only get a new fridge that works, but to get the new warranty.
Exactly. So we went to a scratch and dent place, and yeah, the new fridge to us has a couple dents on the front, but we don't care. We'll cover them with magnets.
Yeah.
I don't. I can't. I can't.
Wait. So what is the warranty?
I know that these are all my first world problems. I'm annoyed, though. I'm annoyed.
No, you're allowed to be annoyed by this because we are being sold
Yes. This crap stuff.
crap stuff. And I'm talking, y'all. They're building houses
Uh-huh.
out here. They are throwing up neighborhoods all around Charlotte. They're building a house in like 2 days.
It's
You
crazy.
think that's going to withstand a storm? I'm telling you, in America, it's like we are doing things as cheap and as fast as possible. And we wonder why everything is breaking, why the landfills are filling up. It's
You know what they
horrid.
say? They say of the 3, you can only pick 2. So cheap, fast, good.
Ooh.
You can have cheap and fast, but it's not going to be good. It's
not gonna be good.
You can have cheap and good, but it's not going to be fast. See what I'm saying? My dad taught me that. So, Jack, there you go. You might have had to listen to us complain and get a little ragey, but I am quoting you. You did teach me that, and I've thought about it every damn day.
Because everything
It's the
applies
triangle.
to this.
Everything applies to it. Everything applies to it.
Oh my gosh.
So just think, cheap, fast, good. Put it in a little triangle in your brain. You can pick 2. But you can only pick 2. It's very rare you're going to get all 3. That's a pipe dream.
Well-
And it doesn't exist here in America. It's not the American dream.
It's not.
My God.
And I was saying to her, Matt's truck went kapooey the other week, 2 weeks ago, and we had to have that repaired out of nowhere. Here's a $2,000 thing we have to fix because Matt needs a car that he can drive.
Yep.
And I said, I just don't understand how everyone in America, how middle America is just affording the multi-$1,000 needs that arise.
Wyoming fund is gone.
Yeah.
We might as well just not move. So at least I've ensured that for myself.
That
No, I'm
sounds
just
great to
kidding.
me.
I'm just kidding.
My smile couldn't be bigger.
That fund is gone. The HELOC is done. Everything's gone. At this point, we're just back to living paycheck to paycheck. And if we need to, God forbid something happens, then we'll just borrow against our house again. Thank God it has equity, but it is so frustrating to feel like you build it up and you build it up and you're doing the right things and you're pinching the pennies and you keep your house at 65 during the winter because the power's gone up so much, and you just tell everybody to put on sweatshirts and wrap up in a blanket, and you can do everything possible. And in just a couple of weeks, we just blew through it all.
What we're here to
It's so frustrating to live, right? It is
But
so maddening.
what
to
we were
work
saying-
so hard.
to each other yesterday is it feels like maybe there is, I don't know if the word is shame, or embarrassment, but it feels like, as we spoke several weeks ago about like the economy and things are expensive and whatever, right? Like no one's like saying it out loud. Like regular everyday people, we know that we're all struggling and we know that things are expensive, and we are all, our eyeballs are crossed looking at the prices of things.
Yeah.
But I just think collectively it's okay for everybody to just be like, wow,
Wow.
this is a lot. And are we the ones on the mic just like blowing the lid off of this? I don't know.
I don't know.
I know that,
Power has doubled.
yes.
Look at your water bills. Look at your power bills. Gas, obviously, we see it is crazy. Like, it's the cost of food. Like a box of cereal is $8. $8 for a box. I'm not talking fancy cereal. I'm not talking like organic cashew.
No.
Someone like is making 200 boxes, on a run. I'm talking Kellogg's, General Mills. You are charging $8 for a box of cereal right now. What is happening?
Yeah.
$5 for a gallon of milk. And a lot of people, I see them go like, well, this is just what it is to live right now. Like, I don't even really pay attention to things because I got to eat and I got to drive from one place to another. And I'm thinking,
Yeah, but if the prices are going up and your paycheck isn't equally going up, then there's a problem.
what's going on? And we're just not seeing this.
Yeah.
I'm happy to talk about it. I don't have so much pride that I can't say.
Correct.
It's hard out in these streets
Yeah.
to live, to afford, to buy the food for all the people in this home and
Yeah.
to fill up all the cars with the gas to get us everywhere and the power to keep the lights on. Like everything has just gone up so much. And people keep saying, well, yeah, COVID, and it shut it down. And now people are just having to recoup and blah, blah, blah. And I understand that to an extent. When does it get to level back out?
I don't know.
Or did everybody just realize that people were willing to pay it? And so they have no incentive to drop it back down.
That's what I
here's
think.
us saying, we have incentive.
Yeah.
Because we want to live. We want to have some sort of savings. We want to have that next thing. We want to go celebrate Kristin's 40th birthday.
Yeah.
And like, she deserves that. And we deserve that. And so we're all doing it. But like, it's hard.
Yeah.
It doesn't take away
Because
the
I
hard.
think all of us are sitting here going, and I see these memes all the time where it's like, we're millennials. We were told that if we go to college, get a degree, we're going to get out and get a good job that pays the bills, and we'll eventually buy a house.
And we'll have 2.4 kids.
Yes, and we were kind of sold this dream, right? But the discrepancy again between what things cost and what you're making, that gap is getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and that dream is falling away for a lot of people.
Yeah.
So we think to ourselves, it's someone's 40th birthday. Surely we can all have,
Yeah.
have a getaway and take a trip.
For people who have been working for 25
Yeah.
years, we've been putting in for a I'm 42. I have worked since 14.
Yes.
That's 28 years,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
28 years.
Yeah.
Have I earned a trip to celebrate my best friend's birthday?
Yes.
But somehow it still feels like, how could I possibly spend the money on
Yes.
this? Because
Yes.
our fridge just went shit out of luck. Like,
Yeah.
it's frustrating that you have to live within those type of means.
I know
Like,
it.
you know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm saying.
Why
And
is no one talking about
But that's
this?
what it is it's like I do feel I'm seeing a little more talk about like, oh, the prices, and like there'll be like some funny reels and things here and there, but are regular everyday people just looking at each other being like, it's a struggle. It's a struggle. We are now giving you all permission to say it's a struggle. And
Call into the HoHo and bitch with us if you want.
please call into the HoHo. We would love to hear, and we will be sad with you.
Mhm. This is just real life stuff.
And if the government is calling you and offering you $50,000 to get on your viral TikTok and say otherwise, please don't take that deal. Don't take the deal. Don't do it.
That's a bad deal.
It's a bad deal. And I'm not saying that it's coming from anybody specific, but the point is we've got bamboozlement going on out here.
Bamboozlement Jane.
Bamboozlement Jane is happening.
Bamboozlement Jane.
And we are the voice of truth, as we've told you.
Yeah.
We've told you about P. Diddy. We've told you about Kate. We're
Yeah.
telling you the economy sucks. You can believe us. You can believe us.
And if it's not for people, I'm just curious. I'm curious how is it not? How is it not affecting you in any sort of way? I'm excited for you. I'm thrilled. I love that. I don't want people to be stressed out about finances. It's not a fun way to live.
No.
It's not. And we've talked through my personal stuff with money, and that, I always am just like, paying attention.
Yes.
Too much maybe even,
Yes.
but just always watching in this like kind of money scarcity mindset
Yes.
of like, you just don't want that other shoe to drop.
You've always been like
Right?
that. And it's a great skill
Yeah.
that you have.
Yes, I don't overspend. It really helps reel in the wants and the needs and all of that sort of stuff. But man, it's just got to be hard for a lot of people who are living even closer, who are
Yes.
tighter,
Yes.
who are one income, who are, I get that. Like I'm watching it and I'm seeing it and I'm just thinking like, when is this bubble? It's going to eventually burst for everybody.
Yeah.
And holy shit, like, what are we going to do? It's always in the back of my mind.
In the back of my mind, and we talked about this at
Sorry I've cussed so much. You're going to have to bleep me out a
it's
lot. It's
fine.
just, I get so mad talking about things. I can't not cuss.
when we were at St. Patrick's.
Yes.
We talked there were several things we talked about, and we will get to that.
Yeah, let's lighten it up.
But we had talked about the AI stuff at St.
Mm-hmm.
Patrick's and how Matt is convinced that AI is going to just like take over everybody's jobs.
Yes, he did say that.
Yes.
He said anybody who creates content of any kind,
Yeah.
AI can now just create that content. And I was like, not true, Matt. We create our original content on this here podcast, and that can't be replicated because we're always talking about new things.
Yeah. Could a computer try to predict the things that we are going to say? I can't myself predict what's going to fly out of my mouth.
No clue from moment to moment. So
Yeah.
how is it? So he's like, well, y'all have recorded enough that it could pull from all of these different podcasts, episodes that you've done, put new sentences together.
Yeah.
But I'm like, but that's not going to say what we wanted to say.
Yeah. So he's saying it would pull our voices and our inflection and all of that. And then he could write in, okay, do an episode with Miranda and Kristin talking about how they hate LED light bulbs and wish we could go back to soft white, right? And then it could do a 30-minute rant using our voices talking about the light bulbs.
With the things we've already said or just new
things. It doesn't even have to use words we've already said. It can just replicate our voices. Because there's so many hours of.
So didn't we tell him? I feel like we told him in the middle of an espresso martini. We said, then do it.
Then do it.
Then do it, Matt. And let's see how terrible it actually is.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be like, I like light bulbs and not soft white, but harsh light. Because I don't think it can nail the inflection. There, I said it. I said it, AI, come at me.
I would love if he could do this and we released it to see if the podcasts would know.
Oh my gosh. Now that's an idea. That's what we should be doing for next week.
That's what we should do for spring break. Maybe our spring break episodes will be Matt's AI versions of something. I don't know what he would want us to be talking about, but
that's crazy. But I would like to see him do it.
Yeah.
And then we'll listen to it. And if it's any good, we'll float it out there and see if anybody noticed it. Like, well, this doesn't quite sound like y'all.
Yeah.
I'm curious if it would be obvious or if it's not obvious at all.
I would love to know.
But is that what would bring us pride if it did work, let's say?
Well,
if it was able to put something together that sounded coherent, that sounded like us, and we put it out there, like, is that something we would be proud of?
Not me.
Not me.
But the bigger thing here is saying, is AI for a lot of jobs, I'm not just podcasting, a lot of careers going to just fully take over, right? Because if the computers are smart enough, let's say someone that works in, investment banking or whatever, if the computer is smart enough to know and to figure out, do this, this, and this to make the most out of your money, then do we need human beings for those jobs anymore? If a computer is smart enough to be a lawyer, to have a computer in a court of law and defend somebody because they're smart enough to gather the facts and present them to a jury, Matt believes that this is where we are headed.
Wow.
And the conversation we were having is, what are the jobs that are actually going to stick around?
You're going to still need all the trade jobs.
Right.
So highly recommend if you're raising kids right now and they are showing an interest in working on cars, in plumbing, in servicing things,
Electrical work.
I would absolutely encourage that. I would sign them up for summer camps in relation to that.
Yes.
I would buy them the tools that they are requesting and asking for if they're genuinely using the other ones already.
Yes.
I would foster that as much as possible because some of that you cannot replicate with a computer.
That's what I think.
That's why you're going to need, like, the hands have to touch certain things in order to fix them.
That's what I think.
Now, sure, obviously when we started making cars, right?
Yeah.
It was hands on the actual machinery. Then it eventually was, okay, how many huge machines can we build to then put the tires on and take down all the bolts and stuff like that. But there are still people in those factories who have to do certain jobs that just cannot be done
Right.
by a computer,
That
by
only
a machine.
A human brain can
Only a
comprehend.
human brain can do, and only human hands can get in there and do it.
Yes.
So those kinds of jobs are still going to exist and are still going to be needed by the human being. And again, if your kid is showing some interest in that, I would encourage that.
I mean, it's wild. I've seen some of the robots that they're releasing now that look like they're breathing, look like they're blinking. And Buckley, I know you're listening to this and this is your worst nightmare. Robots are her worst nightmare.
I know.
She threw Alexa off her back deck. She cannot stand it. And there are many people that have this fear. They watch the iRobot movie or whatever, and they're like, this is horrifying. But this, unfortunately, I think a lot of it is the future. Did you see the woman who is marrying the AI hologram?
No.
Okay.
No. That's
A woman.
a mental disorder.
A woman. So there's a hologram of a man, and I don't think it's a man that ever existed. I think
So
it's
it's a
like
totally AI
totally
hologram man.
AI guy, but it's
Okay.
a hologram that she can interact with, and she's decided to marry him. And we need to gird our loins because I think this is where we're going, and everyone needs to prepare.
That's not a marriage. Let's just start there. That's not marriage.
She doesn't have to iron his clothes.
No, she doesn't have to do that. She doesn't have to do anything. She doesn't have to have sex with him. She doesn't have to do anything. If she's tired, she has a headache, she just goes to bed. And she turns him off. Boop. Hologram, power down. She doesn't have to do anything. That's not a marriage. I'm sorry. It's not. So don't say you're marrying him, you dumb.
I saw that and thought, my oh my.
My oh my. Why? Oh, so that you could be the first to marry a hologram AI guy. Got it. Cool,
Or
cool,
maybe
cool,
it's
cool.
because the men in these streets are no good.
That could be
And women are like, I'll just program one up. I'll just get on my laptop, type in
Yeah.
the features that I want and the personality that I want, and
Yep.
we'll have things in common that we can chat about,
Okay.
and I'll upload them.
Yeah. All right. Well, it's still not marriage. But all the single women out in these streets who are like, yeah, that actually sounds better than any one of the last 10 dates I've been on, then my sympathies are with you.
I mean, we have a friend that wants to date someone who loves Disney and loves musicals.
Yeah, she could program them right up.
So can we just, I don't know. I think there's going to be so much like morality, decision making happening when it comes to all of this.
Yeah,
and
for
deciding
sure.
what is okay. Is it okay to just power off your hologram husband? Is that morally speaking okay?
We need to stop calling him a husband. We'll start there. That's not a marriage. But I do think, I hear people say, oh, we'll just have ChatGPT do that.
Yeah.
We'll just have them
Oh, yeah.
type up all of our newsletters
Yeah.
and send it out and that's fine. I guess that's fine. But I don't know.
We don't want to lose our humanness in all of this.
It's just in a world that feels like we are becoming more and more distanced from the human being side of people, right? So
Yeah.
we see all the studies come out about how kids are more depressed, more anxious than ever. Suicide rates
Yeah.
have gone up. We can watch all of this happen with the increase of social media and and cell phones.
Yeah.
The charts don't lie. The
Yeah.
numbers don't lie. It is exactly
sure.
like this. Okay? More and more people have cell phones, more and more people have social media, more and more people have anxiety, more and more people have fears, more and more people want to kill themselves. It's all the exact same. So you can't say, gosh, I don't know what the cause is. I can't figure it out.
We know.
If only we could figure this out. So you see it and you know it. And so people are more connected than ever because you have access to people. But access does not equal connection. And I've tried to preach this to my children. Just because people have access to you does not mean that they are connected to you. Connection's a feeling. Connection's inside of you. Connection's a heart thing. That's connection. Access, you have access to the grocery store if it's open.
Yes.
Until 11 p.m.
Yes.
It doesn't mean that you're connected to it. So just because you have this phone and anybody can text you at any time doesn't mean that, one, you have to respond because
True.
you are not beholden to when someone accesses you. It doesn't mean that you have the bandwidth to respond to them.
Yes.
You might not.
And don't be mad at people who don't respond to you right away, please.
That's enough with that.
We can't do that.
No,
Our
that-
parents never had to deal with that. If
No.
they called you at home and you weren't home, that's too bad.
That's it. You just didn't talk.
You didn't talk.
You didn't talk and they didn't have access to you. And I I want people to relax on that. People always see my text number. If I take a screenshot on my phone, they're like, oh my gosh, 383 unread texts. I understand that that gives you anxiety. It doesn't give me any.
No.
Just because people have access to me does not mean that I have to respond back to them. It's not a disrespect thing.
No.
It is simply, here's what my brain can handle right now. It is already in the middle of something. I need to
Yes.
finish this task before I can get back to this person. Maybe I don't know the answer. Maybe I have to wait till I hear back from another person. So now I've had to text this person before I can respond to you
Yes.
and say what time I can come here today. I need to text grandma and say, hey, I can't come to you on Wednesday. All of this is normal stuff. It's not because I don't love you and don't want to respond to you. It's
Of
not because I
course not.
disrespect your time.
No.
I would never do that.
I
to
would
you.
never think that.
So try to get into your kids' heads. And again, this is a constant conversation with the Miller girls, is just because somebody can reach you doesn't mean that you have to respond
Yes.
at that moment.
Yes.
And just because somebody has access to you does not mean that they are connected to you.
Yes.
You get to decide who you are connected to.
Mhm.
And having some of those boundaries are even more important when people think that they should always be able to get to you.
Yes.
Not less important.
Yes.
They're more important. And so I can't remember why we first started talking about that.
Well, just that the technology of it all, that kids, we see that as the technology is going up,
Yeah.
the depression rates, the
Mhm.
suicide.
Mhm.
So as the AI and the robots and all the things
Oh,
are
yes.
growing,
Yes.
the kids we're losing the kids.
Well, they feel like, so I think that it can trick you into thinking that you are very connected to people, right?
Yeah.
Because you have access to them. That's where I was going. But really, you don't.
Yeah.
You don't. You're not. You're more disconnected than ever because what feels real and what doesn't feel real are so close together. Those lines are so blurred. And so kids are really struggling to figure out what matters.
Yeah.
What really truly matters in life, because right now I feel like I'm being convinced that my shoes matter,
Yep.
that my brand of cup matters.
And I'm not cool if I don't have that brand of cup.
And that's been around forever, right? The things that we're trying to keep up with the Joneses and what this kid has
Yeah,
and
even
what
when
I don't
we were
have.
growing up, there
That-
were things that were cool.
That, but now it's just extra heightened
because they see it everywhere.
Because they think they see it everywhere. And now it's not just the 5 kids you're friends with in your class.
Yeah.
It's the 500 kids who are posting to social media about it.
Yes.
So now I'm 1 in 500 who doesn't have it, not 1 in 6 who doesn't have
You're
it.
right.
And so it convinces these kids of what's important. And you need to be the one reminding them what's important.
That's right.
And the more people have access to them to tell them what's important, the less your voice is going to be heard. So that's why we encourage you to keep them off TikTok, keep them off Snapchat, keep them off
Please.
these social media platforms that are encouraging them to have more, have different, but also gives them greater anxiety, greater worries, greater fears. Then they start to hear content that they never would have heard before. I didn't hear anyone, when I was a teenager, did you hear anyone talking about wanting to take their own life?
No.
Suicide ideation.
No.
Did those words ever come out of anyone's mouth in your mind? Okay.
No.
Same. Now, I not that we were totally immune to it in family circles or
Sure.
in
I mean,
something
you
like
knew
that.
you knew what
You
it
knew,
was.
You knew what it was, and I personally knew someone who had.
Yeah.
But
that, I think, when we were growing up, it was deeply rooted and connected to severe mental
Yes.
depression
yes,
and mental illness.
correct.
We knew that this person was very sick in their mind, and that is why
That it felt like the only way out,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
something is so bad that this is the only way out. Well, now you have kids who are watching reel after reel after reel, TikTok after TikTok after TikTok, that is telling them, well, this is how I feel. This is how
Yeah.
I feel. I feel like this. I feel like this. This is my only way out. This is my only way out. And you begin to get these thoughts in your mind. Well, I've kind of thought about that before.
Ugh.
I don't have that. So should I feel this way too? Should I be having ideations about this? Should I be having, and so it convinces them. That's why I think we're seeing this increase, is because you are getting fed the information and it convinces your brain that, oh, I could feel this way
Yes,
too.
it's planting a seed in these very
Yes.
vulnerable minds of, and I really, how I
Mm.
feel that during those COVID years,
Mm.
especially, kids were so susceptible to literally anything. You
Yeah.
could suggest anything to them and they would explore it.
Yep.
They would.
Yeah.
Because they were just stuck at home. They didn't have any distraction, no sports, no friends. They were
Yeah.
just stuck. So anything they saw on social media or YouTube seeped into their brain.
It sure did. And we have to safeguard them from this stuff. And the onus is on us as parents. You teach them about it. You educate them about it. You also need to remind them that like that is a forever thing. This is not you regenerate like your video game shows you.
That's true.
It is not like the Wile E. Coyote who
Yes.
falls off and then just runs again.
Yes.
This is forever. This is a permanent decision. And in young kids' minds, they cannot think about permanency. It does not make sense to them.
No.
Nothing is forever.
No.
Nothing.
Speaking of all of this.
I'm sorry that got so deep.
No.
but I am so I'm seeing it.
We're
and I'm
seeing a
hearing it
lot.
because
We both are.
Ron DeSantis put out the Florida bill recently where they are banning social media, I believe, for 14 and 15, up to 14, 15-year-olds. And then there are going to be new safeguards proving your actual ID in order to get on PORN sites.
Oh.
So all of this is kind of within the same bill. And listen, do I think banning things actually like works? I don't know about all of that. And so I don't actually have an opinion on the bill per se, but I do have an opinion and on all of the statistics that are constantly released showing why
the data
it
is real.
so bad.
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm kind of calling back to is the data.
Yeah.
I don't live in Florida. This has nothing to do with me, this
Yeah.
ban or not. But I do think that the heart is in the right place, whether people want to see that or not.
Yeah. And people do debate like, is it up to the government?
Sure.
Big government or small?
Sure.
To try to police our morality
Sure.
and our decision making.
Yeah.
And I do think in some ways they have to. Listen, I want there to be laws against pedophilia.
Yeah, of course.
I want that.
Yeah.
Now,
I think we should all.
Now, they could say, we'll just allow mob rule and you can treat pedophiles however you want, string them up by their toes, and we will all do that.
Yeah.
But there are some ways that government can be of assistance when it comes to
Sure.
morality and decision making.
Absolutely.
But I'm glad you brought this up because I saw an ad, and y'all all have to dig to find the exact name of what this device is.
Mm-hmm.
But we've all seen that on our phones, you can set time limits for yourself. You can do things to try to prevent even us as adults keeping ourselves off of apps But even the settings on an iPhone, you can still say like, no, I want to look at Instagram,
Sure,
right? Even if it's past our bedtime or whatever, there's still ways to just tap, jump back into our social media of choice, right? This company has created a device that sticks on the back of your phone.
Okay.
And if the little kind of magnet, let's say, is not on the back of your phone, then your phone is only going to give you the functions you would like it to have bare bones.
Okay.
So let's say I set it so I can only be receiving phone calls, maybe texts, and any other just bare bones thing to keep me from being so distracted.
Okay.
Right? Now, maybe it's after bedtime, the kids are asleep, I want to be able to scroll the internet a little bit, scroll social media. That little magnet, I can go get it. I can stick it to the back of my phone.
Okay.
And it gives me access to all of my apps.
Interesting. Okay.
So what people are doing, I believe this is how it works, is you take that magnet, let's say, in my house.
Yeah.
I would put it
On Tinsley's phone.
in my third garage.
Okay.
Next to the paint cans.
Okay.
Okay?
Something that you really have to work to go get it.
I'm like, it's a Tuesday and I've got a lot of stuff I need to get done today.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to put this little thing in my third garage and I'm going to come back inside and I'm going to be focused, right? Boom, boom, boom. Now, the feeling might come over me that, man, I want to check Instagram.
Yeah. You've got to haul your ass to the third car garage.
To the third garage.
Can.
To the paint cans to get the device, to put it on the back of my phone to give me access to that.
Bare paint can.
And it makes you pause.
Yeah.
And you say to yourself,
Yes.
do I really need this right now?
It makes you pause.
Pause. Pause on.
Pause on.
I wish they'd make it a little paw. That'd be cute. And they could call it pause. But I
Get
just
it? P-A-U-S-C, but P-A-W-S. For those who aren't watching, we're holding up our kitty paws.
We're holding up our paws, you
Okay.
guys. But I just thought that because we are all so addicted,
Yes.
we can't even trust ourselves to set limits
No.
and to stick to it.
We need a magnet to do it.
We do. We need a physical representation of put it away.
Yeah.
Get it so far away
Yes.
from yourself that it will literally be a walk of shame.
Just throw it off the back deck like Buckley did with her Alexa. Just throw it and you got to go find it in the yard.
You find it in the yard. If you need Instagram or Twitter so bad,
So
that
badly.
you're willing to paw through the grass in
Yes.
the backyard.
Yes.
That, and I thought, these men, to paw.
Fall through the grass. This is us looking for that magnet.
I need to check my notifications. But I just thought, this is smart.
You thought.
I thought to think.
And this is smart.
And these young men who came up with this, they thought to think.
yeah.
And so I am going to dig. I'm going to dig my paw. And I'm going to find this. So anybody that's interested. And I think it's one of those things that right now is in the
Yep. Development stage.
yes, the phase of what do they call it? Like a startup phase.
Yep, a startup. Were
But
they on Shark Tank or something?
I don't know, but I actually saw it in 2 different places. So this
Oh.
is a thing that's catching on. And listen,
Okay.
I'm sure the big tech companies don't like it,
No.
right?
Because again, every one of the social media companies, it all comes down to people logging on to them every single day because they have to tell their advertisers,
Correct.
this is how many eyeballs we get
Yes.
every day,
How many
and this is why we cost this much to run an ad. That's why there are streaks on Snapchat. It is not so that your kid can feel like they're checking in with their friends and sending each other silly things and streaks are really cool and important. It's because Snapchat wants to ensure that everybody is logging on at least once every 24 hours so that they can let their advertisers know that. That's what it
Yes.
always, just follow the money and see where it goes. You will always have the answer at the end of that rainbow in that pot of gold. We talked about St. Patrick's. So I was
Okay.
So I was trying to link it all back. We had all these conversations
So
at St.
listen.
Patrick's.
But what we
Did
have
you not stay with me?
but we have to talk about.
Oh, that. No names, though.
No names.
No names.
But
Did you already get it cleared?
we were given permission. I said, we're going to talk about this on the pod. And they were like, it's fine. We don't care.
Okay, but no names.
No names.
Okay. Because people who follow us know who we hung out with. It's going to narrow it down, I think, pretty clearly.
Okay. Here, I think, and now this was between espresso martinis, but I think how it started was we were talking about that, you go to someone's house and their dog just runs up to you and sticks their nose in your crotch.
Every time.
Okay.
Every time.
And I have to say, I don't like that.
Neither of us like that.
And I know that the dogs just do it, and there's not much that people can do, but it's like you walk in, and immediately, y'all, the dog's nose is in my crotch.
Yeah.
Now, it used to happen to me a lot to where it was like, am I having a problem?
Yeah.
But I used to take garlic pills, and I think
That's right. You thought it was I do remember you telling me this. You thought that it was the garlic pills.
I thought maybe I was taking too much garlic, and maybe somehow that
Maybe
was
like the fish oil.
it was
All the
upset,
fish
the
oil.
fish oil upsetting the pH a little bit, and all the dogs from the neighborhood were finding my crotch. Okay,
I just imagine you walking out your front door to check the mail and all the neighborhood dogs flocking into your vagina. Just like, oh, there she is. And you're like, back away. I'm just trying to check the mail. I've got stuff to do, dogs.
and you try to play it off. This is the worst when it's happening in someone's foyer. Their Bernese mountain dog, his whole snout is in my vulva. And I am just trying to giggle it off.
Rooting around, just tooting around in there, just. And your hair's like, oh my gosh, your dog is really curious. And you're like, oh, sorry, he just does that to everybody. It's like, not okay. Okay.
These dogs, and again, we've said cats are supreme.
Yeah.
This is just another way.
Another example.
Another example of this.
Because my cat has never gone for anyone's crotch when they
No.
walk into my door. And they could reach. If they wanted to jump up, paws up,
You pause up.
pops up.
Pops up.
If they wanted to,
They
they
could.
could get there. They are very long.
And as soon as someone sits, they could also be nuzzling in
Yeah.
somebody's crotch. But they're not doing
They
that.
just want to be right on your knees.
Yes.
Not in your vulva.
No.
We promise.
So I don't know if people can get a handle on that, but this
No,
let
they
us.
can train their dogs to not do that.
Yeah.
They can, because I know lots of people with very well trained dogs, and they walk over and they go, sit, don't
Yeah.
jump, whatever. And then
That's
guess
true.
what? They don't have to be in my crotch. But instead, you're like, oh, isn't that so funny? That's silly. Oh, they just love to do that. They're kind of into it. I'm like, please stop. Just because you are into that, maybe you are. I'm not.
I am not.
I am not into that.
I am not, and it really, and I feel like I can wiggle myself out of a lot of situations, but I am always stumped on that one. I really am. I am stumped.
I totally agree. And dogs are always trying. They feel like it's an access point to try to get to know me because they want to convince me to like them.
Yes.
At least with Kristin, she is going to eventually like your dog and
Yeah.
pet your dog and be like, it's so cute, even though we know some of them aren't. But I'm not going to do, your dog is not going to convince me to do that. So I definitely don't want to go to like second base, third base with your dog.
No.
No.
Good God.
No.
It's all about the D.
But speaking of
Okay, so speaking of
home runs.
so we were chatting about this at St. Patrick's,
Yes.
and our friends say, so then we get to talking about people that allow their pets
In their bedrooms.
to be in the room to witness when they are making love.
Yeah.
Okay. So this becomes a conversation. Is it okay? Can the dogs be there? Are they quiet? Are they sitting in the corner? Are they watching? Are they ignoring? You know, that's,
Yeah.
and I really am going to wonder what the podcasts have to say about
Yep.
this. How many of you
Mhm.
just let the dogs stay in the room while you're doing the deed? How many of you keep the dogs out intentionally? You're shutting and locking the door to
Mhm.
make sure the dog is not there watching.
Any animals.
Any animal.
Any animals.
Well, our friends say at some point the dogs were in the room, but then they got to the point where they would shut them out.
But then they got back to the point to where
They would open the door.
they would open the door and the dogs would be in there. And the husband specifically was like, if I have to wait to move them out and get them down in this or that, wherever, she's already fallen asleep and I can't run that risk. So I'll just have the dogs in there. And then he said, are these dogs on your bed during it sometimes?
and they're
and
on the bed.
And they said yes.
yeah. And then they said,
And then, so my face is growing more and more shocked, disgusted, judgmental. Sure, sue me. I'm being judgy. Wait a minute. Your dogs are on. So the motion in the ocean, we're rocking back and forth. We're flipping around. We're grabbing on. We're doing all the things.
with
And
the
they're-
dogs on.
They're just right there. Like what? Cheering you on. Again, pups up. Are they licking? Are they like how much is happening? Are they interacting? But also, why are they having to sway back and forth? Why
They are.
They're your dog's head's just moving and grooving along with it.
The dogs are going for a ride while you're on a ride.
It's too much. And some would say doggy style has a new name,
Ooh.
but it's too much for me. I can't in my brain comprehend all of that. And I thought that was bad enough. And then what was said?
And then they said, well, after we're done, whether the dog was on the bed or out of the room, either way, when we're done and we get up, the dogs, I can't say it, the dogs like to come lick the spot that we were.
No, 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 no.
Their specific words were,
I can't breathe.
the dog likes to lick the wet spot.
I'm gonna pee. I'm going to pee my
The dog likes to lick her specifically her juices. No, dear God. Y'all like your dogs too much. Y'all Y'all are doing too much with the dogs. You're doing too much with the dogs. Your dogs don't deserve this. I'm calling, what's CPS but for animals? I'm calling animal control. I'm calling the Humane Society. This is inhumane. They're trying to rock with you. They're keeping up.
Call PETA.
Call PETA. PETA's not okay with this. They're not. Throw the blood on the bed. They might lick that up.
They would.
Remember when PETA used to do that? They would throw blood on it.
You're right.
Crazy on fur.
On
if you were in
fur.
fur, they would throw blood on you. Whoa.
So I just think, okay, so I really connected all the dots. I'm the woman with the
math.
With the math.
Yeah, you're the Daryl Hannah lookalike in the meme.
That
GIF? It doesn't matter.
The dogs who want to get in your crotch in the foyer
might be.
Are the dogs who are striving to reach that level where they're licking the wet spot. They want access.
You've given them too much access.
But only certain dogs are going to get access. And I want to say to some of you who really do love your dogs, and that's great. I
want you to love your animals.
Y'all know I love all the animals.
Yes.
But I want you to consider that maybe you don't realize because these two friends of ours are being very observant and they've noticed this pattern of behavior.
Yeah.
Have you taken the time when you open that door and maybe you get cleaned up or you make yourself a cup of tea? Have you watched your dog? Do you see what they're doing? Are they in your sheets licking, making that awful licking sound? You know the sound.
Oh, I know the sound.
It's the worst.
I cannot listen to a dog lick.
The dog licking anything is gross.
Gross.
So I'm just saying, I just think this is a PSA.
A PSA.
That we have friends that have said, hey, we've noticed this. And
hey, when you go into their house, does that dog come to your crotch? Think about it.
It's little dogs. They're little.
They can't reach up.
They cannot reach up.
Okay, but they can hop on the bed?
They can hop. They could definitely hop on the bed. But
okay.
They can't. If they're coming at me, they're not able.
Okay.
They're not able to.
Okay, got it.
So,
but if they could, they would.
So
know that
is telling me that they're sad because they don't get the crotch foyer time. So they are deprived in that way. So then they're going straight to the source after making love.
And when we were horrified by this and shocked and falling off of our stools, I remember our friend saying, well, he's just very protective of me.
Yeah.
No, there's no justifying this. There's no rationalizing this. It does not matter. Well, let's just cover it back up. Let's pull
the sheets up.
Let's pull the sheets up.
Yeah.
Let's pull the pups up.
Let's get a towel.
Let's do something. Let's try again. Let's tap, tap, tap. Let's not do that. Let's not give them the access to that. I don't know why we're doing that.
I can't.
And I don't know that your animals want to be a part of it. I don't know that they want to be up there.
Well,
I don't know that they want to watch from their crates.
I know for certain that many of you listening are allowing your animals to watch.
Yeah, for sure.
I know.
Oh, I know for sure. And again, I'm just this is being curious and judgmental. But I want to know what that's about. I want to know, is it not annoying? Like, maybe I'm just way too in my head sometimes during the act.
Sure.
But, like, to be hearing them, like, whimpering in
the
crate.
I couldn't do that.
And pawing at it and scratching and barking and everything. Like, I just, that would be so distracting for me.
Yes.
But also, it's just like, what have they seen?
Ooh.
You know? What have they seen?
They've seen a lot.
We know, some of y'all think that you can read through your dog's eyes, that you really
see the universe.
Yeah, that you can talk to them, that they are human-like. So it would be the same, in my opinion, as like having just another human just sitting in the corner checking it out.
No.
But that's how some people treat their dogs. They're just like, I know. We are talking. We are vibing. We are connecting. My dog knows me inside and out. We have service dogs who are so smart. Y'all don't think that they realize what's going on?
They know.
Maybe they don't want to be a part of it.
They don't. You're forcing them to watch.
I just don't get it. I don't get it. But again, our cats have never been in. They are not allowed in the bedroom for sleeping,
Yes.
for anything, until it's awake time.
But you know what?
and Joshua's gone.
Someone in this conversation, I don't remember who said it, might have been you,
Yeah.
said, y'all, you know somebody who has automatic locks on their bedroom door.
No,
The friend
someone sitting at that table has it.
has automatic locks. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. And so then it
Was
can,
that behind here?
Yeah, it was behind there.
Okay.
So then it can unlock by the push of a button
Yeah.
from their phone, which is so smart.
So smart. But I'm not shocked by that. That
tracks.
tracks. That tracks. But I like that idea. I said, how I said, how Matt Lauer of you.
Matt, get the automatic locks for the door.
But not Matt Lauer. Different Matt.
Matt Timmerman.
Matt Timmerman locks, yes. Matt Lauer locks, no.
Boo. Oh, he's the
I think
worst.
I think that's a good place to end. We'll end on Matt Lauer
Yes.
and booing him.
And boo. Okay, so thank you guys.
Take your dogs out of the room.
Take your dogs out of the room. We've covered a lot on this 2-part
That
episode.
is what we are going to absolutely get canceled on. More people are going to be outraged by us talking about their dogs watching them have sex than they're going to be outraged about anything else we've ever said on this podcast because people are
that's
so
pathetic.
obsessed
That's ridiculous.
and so territorial and so everything about their dogs. Like, you cannot say anything about someone's dog in any kind of way. Even if you're joking, we know this. We've seen it happen. The way people ride for their dogs is crazy. And we will have more people mad at us about that than anything else we've ever said on this podcast. I'm predicting it right now.
She's put it on the record. I'm curious to see. Y'all know we want to go viral,
now they're gonna
so
be like-
share it.
But see, now they're going to be like, well, now we're not going to say anything because you're expecting us to say something. But I just know it in my bones. Maybe we just save this little part and we can play it at another time if that happens.
No, we're going to find out if you were silent or silenced.
That's my Okay, Oprah.
Know that. To be continued.